Alright, so issue 4 starts out with the main part showcase with Alex, Whiteboi, Milewski, B-Boy, Whiteboi from Boulder, Colorado. After that we get into squad goals with Try Hard Collective, THC, another group from Boulder, Colorado. We then move into portfolio with Brian Taylor, Super OG from Denver, Colorado, and then we get into bangers with Aiden Scott. We move into the event coverage with the Block Party from Block 1750 and Street Style 2, our second annual Street Style parkour competition. We then move it on to another form of how we get into flow with counterculture featuring pole dancing from Nguyen. Next up we have Elias Mazikowski as our underground athlete. After that we have Spot Roulette featuring myself, Luke Albrecht, and CP from Singapore. And finally we wrap it up with Flomo featuring Abel Martin, aka Abel Martin, aka I Spam Quads, or you may know him as Syrup or even Tree Blood. So that is issue 4, y'all. It's gonna be super lit. If you want to catch issue 1, 2, or 3, you can now catch them on YouTube. We're releasing every issue from now on for free for your viewing pleasure. And we want to shout out the community and thank you for all your support and love that you've been giving Flogang. And we want to give back to you by creating more great content and more of Flogang magazine. So thank you guys. And let's get into it, baby. Woo!
My name's Alex Milewski, aka B-Boy Whiteboi, represent Blow Up Kings, Worm Tank Crew, Soul Squad, Block 1750, Hip Hop Worldwide. I'm 26 years old, I've been breaking for 11 years. I represent Colorado, I grew up in Denver, and I live in Boulder. I think dancing is all about flow state. I think that's why we continue to dance year after year, even though maybe we like lose a bunch of competitions and hurt ourselves and don't make any money and get really depressed sometimes. But I think it's all about like the meditative, like going in, you know, and like anyone who's ever been there, like it's addictive. Like you go in and like it's like nothing else. It's like really living and breathing and feeling. I don't think it's so much about like what does like the flow state do for the dancing, but it's more like what does the flow state do for you? You know, because for me, like that's why I keep dancing, because it's that like that hit. It's like a drug every time. Like when you go in and you just like you're just totally in the zone. You don't have to think. You're just like moving and like doing it, and it's all like muscle memory and like the beats there, and it's like da da da. It's like to me that's like why I dance, you know, and I don't think dance is even possible without that. Because that's like the essence, right? The essence is like letting go of all the external, all the shit, all of life, all of your problems, check your body at the door, come as you are, and like open up your heart and like just like put it on the floor. And that's what it's all about. If I could be any Pokemon, I would probably be a Gyarados, because that's like the most badass fish in the sea, literally, but comes from like such humble origins, and I feel like Gyarados like really appreciates being Gyarados, you know, like you just like kind of went from nothing to everything, and that's like dope. Eat one like type of food for the rest of my life, it would just be vegetables, because vegetables are the bomb and they fuel us and they're really important, and you don't have to kill anything to get them, which is great. favorite sayings is inspiration is free, and inspiration is also abundant. Be a good person, aka don't be a dick. That's like really important. And just like be present. I think like being in the moment is so important, and sometimes we get really caught up in like the past or the future, or like what we want to do or what we have done, and we kind of like forget to be here. And really like here is all that matters. And I try to like stay present all the time, and that's really hard, and that's like a daily practice, just like dancing, just like any sort of activity that you do. It takes a lot of work, but that's something that like I hope to continue to embody for the rest of my life.
Light it!
Oh no! Always complete. Always complete.
They ask you how you are, and you just have to say that you're fine when you're not.
Oh, fuck. Ah, shit. Ah, shit. Ugh. Ugh. Fuck. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Case!
Oh! Yes!
Yeah.
Get one.
Thanks, dude.
I like Wasilla. No fucking trick ass bitch. I remember when you're pretty good at that.
You got
do a little roll. Oh, man. Oh. Rolling. Fucking scary. What Yes! Told me how to sex society. Big boy came up. Had to wait till I put it sick. Till my face stops, make shit. On my face shit. Bottle jumping 30 cent. Jumping till I'm 30 with my plastic. Catastrophic with the bomb shit. Don't set dreams with the beam. Cause I shot shit. Bottle kid. Fuck with me. Never been a boss stock long dick. Girl, he never stuck with me. Probably cause I slapped shit. Wrestle with the West. It ain't no question. I'ma get mine. Fucking out of five. I ain't got time. New booty is my lifeline. Guessing I'm the best in it. I don't get tired. New girls and sweatpants. My attack. I'ma try to buy this ass. Jumping over like a boat. Going to blow. Pass a Billy Buck. I'ma smash. I'ma take one for the team and catch a bullet for the magic legal. Got me stacking self to self. Ready racket.
Said one more time, correct these lines and deceit these lies. Fuck it. Here we go. He's the prodigy, a trailer process offense. Grew up around these ball things. Told you never chase your drink. Now I'm on the bigger things. Yeah, they all mad at me. Yeah, the loser team. Solo the only thing that let my bar swing. I'm out the park, on the front receipts. On the cover Forbes magazines. Now the Dolphins play my rings. They play my rings. They playing them things. Why they taking these things? Why you saying these things? Man, I'm tired of these. Over.
Ana Freddy, man, two Biz, Hicks, Ana Freddy, Ana two Heads, Biz, Ana Tony, man, two Biz, Hicks, Ana Freddy.
How we positive action, you know what I mean? Like do lots of fundraisers and charity stuff like that, art, and just add more to the place that we live. You know what I mean? That's kind of our thing. Because we pull in resources from the community. You know, like we make money from the community.
Yeah.
Like around us, you know, and then we have a responsibility if we're doing that to share that back out any way you can, yeah.
My name is Brian Taylor. I'm 41 years old. I'm from Birmingham, Alabama, but I've been in Colorado for a long ass time. And my liquid art is creative movement, parkour, flow, etc. I've always been a mover. I started out doing martial arts, jiu-jitsu, a Japanese version of jiu-jitsu, and that transitioned into ballet. I did that for a couple of years, and that took me into the breakdancing world. So I was a breakdancer for a long ass time, and you know, just like everybody else that does this kind of movement, I always did this kind of movement. But when I got out here to Colorado, that's when I started really paying attention to it. And that's when I actually started practicing it. So we were trying breakdancing on all these different surfaces and doing all this different crazy stuff, and I wanted to learn how to do a flip, researched how to do the flip, stumbled across parkour. The rest is history. Oh, there was only one inspiration, that was David Bell. Like literally, when I started, YouTube didn't even exist. You found videos in sporadic, random places. You had to, you know, people were still using, what was it, LimeWire, I think it was, to download shit, right? So I mean, we were pulling like, you know, Speed Airman by David Bell and Yamakasi. Yamakasi, like those movies, especially the first Yamakasi, was something that we hunted intently for, and then finally found a copy of it, and I must have watched that movie 25, 30 times. In the span of about 2 months. I was hooked. 2007, 2008. The community wasn't big. We did, however, have quite a few guys that were training and training on a regular basis. We were just trying to raise awareness. If people saw what we were doing and they liked what we were doing, we were trying to explain it to them. We spent a lot of time explaining it to cops, honestly. We spent a lot of time explaining to different gymnastics gyms owners and business owners, you know, when they came out and they bitched at us about jumping on their stuff. We were just trying to keep ourselves out of jail, essentially. Hybrid free running was actually the first Denver team that wasn't Apex, right? They're all mended these days, but back then there were some rocky times, and we didn't want to be a part of them. because we thought a little differently. This was during the parkour free running fucking mad debate, and we refused to conform. We said, you know what, if I want to fucking throw a flip, I'm gonna throw a flip. If I want to climb something this way, I'm gonna climb it this fucking way. So we formed our own team, and it was hybrid free running. And hybrid free running, the core people were myself, Eli Warsencroft, or Eli Croft as he goes by these days, Lauren Ball, Lauren Ball, Lauren Ball, and Jason Kaz. We trained constantly. Like, our training was different than what people do these days. So I would literally have them meet me over at my apartment. We would go out of my apartment, my second story window, and start there and end somewhere way the fuck over here. And we're talking like way the fuck the other side of Cap Hill and end somewhere over here and then back. And it was more about the journey and the line than I did this move and I did that move and I did this move. It was just, when you talk about the flow state, I feel like in my entire career, that was when I really experienced the flow state the most, was you didn't stop to go back and hit something. You did it and you moved on. At that point in time, it was really about preserving what parkour was. It wasn't about who's got the biggest trick. It wasn't about how many crazy flips can I do. It wasn't about competition. It wasn't about anything. It was about preserving the purity of the sport. We were trying to grow the sport. We were trying to become better at what we were doing. We were trying to pass it down to the next generation. In the first year or so, it was a thing of interest, something I was toying and playing with. By the second year, it was all-encompassing, and it stayed that way for the better part of 12 years. I became very much the teacher for a very, very, very long time. I have had thousands of kids run through my program. Path is a long, long story. It's a 9.5-year journey that's still going on for some people. So we were teaching at 5280 gymnastics originally, and I was doing a trick on a trampoline and I blew out my knee. I tore my ACL, and that put me on my ass for 6 months. The recovery was just fucking brutal. And I was rehabbing at Goodson Recreational Center in their pool, and I went into the pool and came out of the pool, and across the exit from the pool is the back door to the gymnastics facility. They were doing an open gym. Charlie Bolton, everybody knows that name, right? So Charlie Bolton was in there and he was training. One thing led to another. I wound up opening a program there. That program was wildly successful for a long freaking time. Parkour nights were balls to the walls. Every young boy in that area and from surrounding areas was in that gym. Sometimes we were 60 deep. It's not a joke. I'm literally not kidding you. I was like, you do this Kong, you climb that wall, you stop fucking off. But it was crazy, it was nuts. And so it was really successful, and it went that way for a very long time. Over the years, the management changed at Goodson Recreational Center, and they began to see us as a blight on the program, politely asked us to leave. And we transitioned to active athletics for a year. And then from active athletics, I met a gentleman, and he wanted me to grow it a little bit bigger. I had already had plans with it. I've already tried multiple occasions. So we spent a little bit of money, and we grew it to a bigger program. And that program, through various evolutions, is essentially what Path Movement is today. I'm no longer with Path, by the way. The box. The box was my favorite, man. That was, I genuinely shot that in like 45 minutes of just fucking around. I loved that because it was so far different from what anybody was putting out at the time. And I really had a blast doing that because it was a combination of b-boying, it was a combination of parkour, and it was so unique at that point in time. You were lucky if you could find one, maybe two other videos on the web like that. Period. I've done some commercial work. I've been in various commercials. I did fight choreography for a couple of films, stunt work for various films and various short films and commercials. It was a lot of fun. It was something I stumbled into, but I had a good friend, and via some other work we were doing, he asked me what I would do in this situation, and I told him, and he said, well, what would you do in this situation? And before we knew it, I was doing massive choreography for a film, a feature-length film. And I had help. It wasn't just me, there were other people involved. But yeah, and then that one led to another film, and then that one also led to fight choreography and stunt work for a commercial. Yeah, it's something I've got a little history with. Yeah. Flow changed my parkour career and style. Flow allowed me to better understand the movements, the core basic movements, because they were on constant repeat. And that allowed me to look at things differently and teach things differently. Remember, so much of my career was teaching versus being some famous athlete. I mean, I'll be honest with you, if you go outside of the city, not many people have heard of me. It really changed the way that I thought about it, but it also allowed me to change as I got older. A lot of the people that are doing parkour these days are 20s, 30s, right? And I had already had several injuries. Those injuries still hang with me today. And so it allowed me to circumnavigate those injuries. So for example, we could come through this area and somebody would go Kong, or Kong pre, double front, or Sean's case, back full, the back twist, a triple flip twist, corkscrew off of it. But it allowed me to circumnavigate. So I was able to add style and flavor into what I was doing without having to take dramatic impacts and without having to really risk my safety, yet still it made my style video worthy, I guess. I don't know. I mean, it was cool. It was fun to do, and it was fun for people to watch, I guess. It's about certain key things that you put in. So for example, when it was movement, it wasn't about the move, it was about the transition, right? So it wasn't about how you did A or how you did B, it was how you got from A to B. And how you continued that momentum, that energy, that concept. And then roughly 3 years into that flow state, that learning to flow, it became about circles for me. Everything pulled in to itself. So when I was doing movement, there was what was immediately in my grasp, there was what I could connect to, and then there was what was beyond that. But in those three rings, everything always pulled back into the center. So as it has transitioned from me being a movement artist into a word artist, it is the same. In my stories, there is the core story. There is the stories that will touch that story, and then there is where that story goes. But if you read my stories, you'll notice that even if I create this character on the other side of the country, they always get pulled right back into that main timeline. And in both movement and writing, that has allowed me to create an expansive form of thought about it. I love to tell stories. Love to tell stories, whether it's teaching someone something or telling you a story about how hybrid freerunning used to do this. I love to tell stories, and I had this story that was circulating in my brain for a long time. I toyed around with writing the story, and I wrote the story off and on for a little while, and finally hammered it out, and it turned into a novel. And I guess that was when I became a writer. I just needed to tell these stories, and it turns out I'm all right at it. So what is in store now for Brian Taylor is I am officially retired from movement. I still exercise, I still have a good time, and yes, I still look at things and I still want to jump off of them, and occasionally I'll do. But now everything's about writing. Everything is about 12 Blackened Petals. That story is my passion beyond my daughter and my wife, period. Daughter, wife, 12 Blackened Petals. It is a fantastic story about a guy named Sam who is so incredibly poor, he has to keep leftover ramen noodles in the fridge. His buddy Frank says, hey, go on this heist with me and you'll make a ton of cash. Come steal this flower with me. He says, sure, whatever, it's a flower, no problem. So they steal the flower, and in the process, they both get shot in the head. bang, bang, dead. Sam's blood gets on that flower, and that flower turns out to be a resurrection flower. The resurrection flower brings him back to life at twice the maximum potential of any human ever. Twice as fast, twice as smart, twice as strong. But the catch is he's twice as angry, twice as emotional, he feels twice as much pain. And this is an exponential process. So the first time it's double, the second time it's quadruple, and then 8, 16, so on and so forth. So in the first book, covers a 48-hour period. He dies 3 times, kills hundreds of people with his bare hands, gets into a fist fight with an angel, pisses off the American military, unleashes a murderous demon on the world, and accepts the job of becoming the one and only God Almighty. That's the first book in the series. There are 5 books in that particular vein of the series, and there are multiple other stories that are connected to that. By the time you guys see this, there will be 3 books available for you to read and listen to. We produced the audiobooks with a complete theatrical soundtrack and sound effects. So when he knocks a helicopter out of the sky, you feel it. When he punches someone's head through a brick wall, you feel it, you experience it. And yeah, 12blackandpedals.com. Go sign up, you're gonna love it. Now, I'm a little bit older. Since my split with Path, my practice has slowed tremendously. My brain hasn't stopped thinking about it, as no one's will. As far as what role it'll play in my future, it's always gonna be a part of me. It finds its ways in my books, it finds its ways into my stories. It's on every single one of my social media feeds. I can't go 3 articles without seeing somebody jumping something, climbing something, flipping something. And it's built some tremendous bonds with some amazing people. The guy running the camera, the guy sitting behind the camera behind you, and so many other people that are involved with Flogang and with other forms of liquid movement. Lifelong bonds, lifelong bonds.
Niggas ain't ready for the new shit. I already came with a blueprint. I ain't asked nobody for they 2 cents. So I'm cutting niggas off like loose ends. New hoes, no new friends. Shit, a nigga just waiting on a new biz. Playing game, setting all the new trends. And all these hoes at the crib, I need a new bed. It's like, whoa, shit, I'm sick of them hoes. Don't listen to rappers, cause niggas a joke. Give me your track, I can fix it. This broke a bitch rolling my dope, cause we fixing the smoke. You can see I'm the truth and try fixing your scope. You niggas smoke loud, but you get it for more. Calling my gooses to kick in your dope. Till you get on the floor, take your shit, then we go. Niggas stay fresh like toothpaste. A lot of y'all niggas like Two-Face. Gold on my mask like Michael Carter. Never give a fuck like Use K. Money on my mind like Weezy Wee. Looking for the truth and you can see it's me. Fuck the police, free BZB. I'm going to the top and I'ma bring the team. It's like y'all won't even give a young nigga a chance. I told her that I'm gonna be rich, so she give head in advance. I'm in the spot doing drugs, I'm about to lose my control. You catch me ballin' with your bitch like we was playing the ball. You dig? Play, gang. Turn up, turn up, bang, bang, burn up, go, gang, snip up, money over bitches, my nigga, swag out hot, I'm ballin', cash out G, I'm callin', fuck boys fake, we brawlin', bitch these motherfuckers don't want ballin', shit, swag out hot, I'm ballin', cash out G, I'm callin', fuck boys fake, we brawlin', bitch these motherfuckers don't want ballin', shit.
My chick cook like Lil B, whippin' workin' that skillet. A beat a day, 7 beats a week, 365 to the day I sleep. I'm eating good, still staying hungry. Yeah, kick pushing that pavement. Only money talks like Chris Tucker. Fiasco for them payments. You know zero of the lingo. Nobody that we know. Style way be El Nino. My chick's ass like an El Camino. More money that stick up. This rap shit, we live that. Mixing weed with that liquor. Drugs at the party and kickbacks. My bitch looking real bad. Yo, bitch look like riff rap. Yo, we smell like low grade. My cushion and vacuum still back, but it's still reeking. Oh shit. If the cops pull me over, man, the shit's legal. So dope.
so I woke up late. Dry heat, got a choke up brace in the toilet with a poker face. Soda chase, slow the pace, you know the fate. Mistakes that voters made won't wait me to shoulders break. Got enough at stake and on the plate with a double-edged blade that don't cut straight. Try to leave but go A straight. Gotta see but won't save face. Getting up, getting out, getting high. I'll come by but won't say hey. Die hard till the soul vacate. Run it back with the old play fake. Giving in, giving up, give it back. Knickknacks with no break. Say get cake, get pie, get victory. I scream inside, I'm sick of me. Slip down when the slope gets slippery. Uphill battle with the utmost enemy. Broke rules at the school of trickery. Wild blind faith try to blame them and picking me. Seem light but I never really get any mysteries of my history's misery. I got some issues, caught in the struggle. I need to unwind.
Gotta think of something new because I feel about to snap.
I got some issues, caught in the struggle. Violence on my mind.
People call it a recession, but the struggle won't pass. Growing up is a young pup, biting on the angles of my family in the streets, chasing life, leading things times twice. Having dreams of getting right where I've been knowing signals with my peace pipe. Mind the delusional vanish, eating ramen noodles straight from the package. The heat don't work, so we turn on the stove with blankets. Cold, they getting close to the family. Mama with a couple of beers since we worked 2 jobs, just trying to support 2 snot-nosed boys who did it they wrong, so they constantly in and out of court. Trying to find a job, but you know it's hard when you have a record with a baby mama in your ear, jibber-jabbing, continuously adding the pressure. Something's gotta give, pretend friends say that they're there, but then blowing the wind. With problems come with the you and twins, taking shots to the chin in the late round 10. Win with it in, trying to blend in with a 9 to 5, trying to be normal. Ain't it like I'm supposed to, the pay rate is horrible. Need to feel the table, can't afford to.
I got some issues, caught in the struggle. I need to unwind.
Gotta think of something new because I feel about to snap.
I got some issues, caught in the struggle. Violence on my mind.
People call it a recession, but the struggle won't pass.
I got some issues, caught in the struggle. I need to unwind.
Gotta think of something new because I feel about to snap.
I got some issues, caught in the struggle. Violence on my mind.
People call it a recession, but the struggle won't pass.
If a fight is never ending, well baby, so it seems. Atlas is disposition.
còn nhỏ, bố em hay mang em trên xe đạp lên cao. Lúc em 5 tuổi, bố em bị ung thư dạ dày và trong vòng 1 năm bố em ra đi. 9 tuổi rồi, ngày này là ngày cuối việc của em. Em ấy có mắt vàng, mắt xanh, và một tròn cát. Em được bố mẹ nghĩ tương lai của em là thật sáng. Em ấy chiều em và cho em thật nhiều cơ hội. เข้าออกง่ายซ้อมกัน
How's that? Wait, we're doing. Hi, I'm Elias Mazikowski, 22 years old. I'm from Wakanda, Illinois. My liquid art is parkour, and we're doing it for about 8 years now.
Do you hear music? It's in my head. It's in my head. Do you hear music? It's in my head. It's in my head. Do you hear music? It's in my head. It's in my head. Do you hear music? It's in my head. It's in my head. Do you hear music? It's in my head. It's in my head. I'm aging and changing on the outside, but staying the same on the inside. I find we never grow old unless you use your eyes. Yes, I'm aging and changing on the outside, but staying the same on the inside. I find we never grow old unless you use your eyes. So see my heaven raining down inside of me. Time will always dictate evolution, so I let it wash all over me like waterfalls of memories eternally. See my heaven raining down inside of me. Time will always dictate evolution, so I let it wash all over me like waterfalls of memories eternally.
I was actually in Denver 8 years ago, and I saw someone wall flip. I was there for a mission trip for something for church, and instantly I was like, that is amazing, please teach me that. And he spotted me once, spotted me twice, and I got it like on the third try, and it was set in stone after that. I left Illinois at first to run away. I ended up in Colorado working on a farm for free. They feed you and house you, and you just learn about organic farming. And it didn't go well, and I thought I failed. I went back to Denver, and I was about to board a plane like the next day, but I just needed a place to stay, and Luke and Taylor graciously let me stay, and a day later I got offered a job at Path Movement, and it felt so surreal because teaching is what I've started to really get into, and I thought it was an amazing opportunity, and I took it. And a year later I have my own apartment, teach now. I've been teaching there for a year, and I wouldn't change a thing about that. Everything definitely happens for a reason, and I'm so happy right now.
I'm melting away, my existence is gone. The life that I once had means nothing at all. I am lost in time, slow down.
We talked about influences, and one of my biggest ones was Luke Albrecht. Living with him for a while now, and like I used to just like throw myself just because I could. And training with him, he showed me that like you don't have to. That control is that low risk, still high reward. It's just a different kind of training, and I really, really enjoy it. And it's made me stronger and like more patient even in life because I can connect that with my training. And so I've been able to go into the flow state with stuff besides parkour. Parkour allowed me to access it, and I know what it is. I know what's happening to me. But now I can use it for other things, such as work, teaching, talking to someone, being social. Like you can enter the flow state doing anything. I see flow state as trusting yourself, because if you know that you can do it and you just let yourself do what it needs to, that's when you can turn off that doubt in your head, and that's when you can perform as best as you can. My fears is longevity. I think about this all the time, longevity. Like, when do you go hard and when do you pull back and relax and train gently? And just recapping the moves that you already know, because you can't go hard every single day. You'll ruin your body. I want to do this for the rest of my life, and I want to teach for the rest of my life, so I need to train accordingly. And I think my daily life influences my style. I like to be well-rounded. I think in my training, I'm starting to realize that's what I value the most. I think that has to do with how I view life too. I like doing everything, and parkour is very general term, but there's so many different styles, and I want to take a little piece of everyone's style, and I like to make it my own. Sometimes you sit back and you just have to breathe. And sometimes it takes me like a minute, sometimes it takes me 3 breaths, but if there's something where I'm like, all right, I can do this, I need to relax, and I need to get this, I'll do breathing. Sometimes I'll even go a step further, and I'll close my eyes and balance on one foot, because you can't do that when you're anxious and thinking too much. You have to be in the moment, you have to feel your body, and I come back and it's just there. The role parkour has in my life, it's a teacher to me. Living on my own and stuff, there isn't anyone anymore that tells me what to do. I'm all on my own, I gotta figure things out. Parkour teaches me to relax, patience, all those things that I need to learn more, and those things that sometimes I forget. And if I'm not patient, if I'm too anxious and I try to do this move or something, that's when you get hurt. You have to be relaxed and trust yourself, and I use parkour, the things that I learned from my training, to affect my life. I think that's why I like teaching too, because I like to learn the mistakes myself and then give it to someone else. Tell them what I learned so they don't have to make that mistake anymore. I've always thought of like the Colorado community. Do you ever like everyone just comes together and trains, like huge groups? Like we have like hundreds of athletes here, you know, and I look at like other countries and stuff like that, and like there's like 50 to 100 people just training together, and there's so many people here that do train that it always seems like there's little groups that train all scattered around, and I wonder why there isn't any big huge jams, because that's when I first got started in Chicago. I went to a jam and there was like 30 something people, and it was amazing. Everyone was so helpful, and you just pick a spot and people meet up and train, you know? And I'm wondering why it's not like that here more. Like there's so many athletes here. I feel like if we all just pick a spot and just train and just see where the day goes, I feel like that'd be really fun.
What's up, guys? We are out here today in beautiful Denver, Colorado. I have a whole dope group with me. CP from Singapore, Luke Albrecht, and Oteino. We're about to be doing spot roulette today. I'm gonna have my man CP do the honors of picking the spot. Okay. So we got here the Google Maps. I'm gonna pick a random location, so go ahead and close your eyes.
Let me see it.
3, 2, what is it? Here. Alright, so I'll try again. Boom, there you go. One?
Yeah.
Got it. 18th and Clarkson, though. That's where we're at. 18th and Clarkson. So.
Are we nearby?
Ish. We're gonna have
less
to drive.
than 10 minute drive.
Yeah.
Sick.
All right, so we have our location. It's in North Capitol Hill. We're currently down in South Cap Hill, and we're gonna go ahead and just do a warm-up session at this beautiful park. You guys ready?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Let's go.
And for my people out there, I got a question. People out there, I got a question. Let me tell you something. And for my people out there, I got a question. People out there, I got a question. For my people out there, I got a question. Every day by sunset, we're left for one guess. After another, just to wonder what's next. Every day by sunset, we're left for one guess. After another, just to wonder what's next. Imagine possibilities, an alternate universe. Truth dispersed, that will false as I ruin her. Gone with the wind, can't see it, but it's soft touch got us running the sea. Focus forward instead of acting ass backwards. Take a sec to reflect and laugh after. No one makes it out alive. It's a fight to death, despite our best steps to rise against self-centered indulgence and self-righteousness.
All right, guys, so we made it to the spot. We're at 18th and Clarkson. As you can see, literally, there's spots all around us. So we're about to go have some fun.
Mass exodus of light through night captured, and high fidelity defined as our rapture. Fear of what's born is all that I've gathered.
Every day by sunset we're left with one guess after another, just to wonder what's next. Every day by sunset we're left with one guess after another, just to wonder what's next. Who's to say what it truly is? Could it be like a scene out of movie script? Cause chances are this worldly fake got us trying to slip past pearly gates. So where will I go when I've lost my way and the music stop and the spotlight fade to black? Wondering, will I make it back? Does a race stop there or do we take a lap? Place bets when we inhale snake's breath. Trace steps, then exit stage left. Alternate into an altered state, thinking how will these pieces all fall in place? Will the buck stop here or do we travel in the mind? Build blocks to a castle in the sky. Can I find a map back to Eden, or could it all be like the act of dreaming?
Every day by sunset we're left with one guess after another, just to wonder what's next. Every day by sunset we're left with one guess after another, just to wonder what's next.
I've been wondering why I keep thundering, rain clouds hovering, sunshine smothering. It'll come again, Gemini summering. Never been concerned with what another motherfucker did. You know what it is. We don't state the obvious, and obviously it's monotonous. We forgotten it's rotten and stopping and watching them flock, then shocking the populace. In my metropolis, conscious is awkwardness, pocketing profits, lost in the promises. Broken, they just wanna see us choking. Keep my mind open, show me the chosen. Soaked in blood, cloak and daggers. Won't get up broken ladders. Don't give up, know the patterns. Ask them a question and hope it matters.